And we are live back here at the Infinity Studios on Monday Night Fredo, man. I am excited for tonight's show. It was an eventful weekend here with the NFL. I mean, I've been waiting for this for months and months for this game to come by between the Raiders and the Chargers. I was there and I will give you some feedback. But first, want to let you guys know again, thank you guys for tuning in here. Of course, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram, on social media at Infinity Studios, and myself, Fredo Cervantes. We're bringing you guys all of the latest shows that we got going on. Of course, going to give a special shout out for the premiere and the debut of the Waiver Wire podcast with Mike and Marco, which is going to be streaming live right after this show at 9 p.m. Pacific. All right, guys, so make sure you guys all tune in. If you guys are fantasy football players, this is the show for you. So make sure you tune into the Infinity Studios YouTube channel, 9 o'clock, and watch Marco and Mike go at it. Because I was upset this week. I lost my first week in fantasy football to Marco. So I'm definitely going to tune in on the show tonight to go ahead and see what kind of lineup changes am I going to make this week. And if you're that type of guy, you want to check this show out. Because I'm sure that last night it was something that all of America didn't want to watch. Dak Prescott and the Cowboys against Tom Brady. And what an awful. I feel so bad. Like, I'm sad for the Dallas Cowboys. Like, something always goes wrong with those people. Always something. And I'm going to go ahead and talk about that a little later. I mean, of course, there's just so much activity. All right. But I'm going to go ahead and get started with the best game that happened yesterday, which was here at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles between the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. Chargers came up on top 24-19 after a terrific performance from Justin Herbert entering his third year, which is, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to move too far ahead of the needle, but I'm just saying that the Chargers are going to be a problem this year. Seeing what they did on the field yesterday makes me understand why Tom Telesco, the GM of the Chargers, did all the moves this season. Bringing in a guy like Khalil Mack, who got 3 sacks yesterday on his former teammate in Derek Carr, which was something that you have never seen before, because watching this game on the field, looking at Khalil Mack on one corner, you got Joey Bosa on the other, and you got Derwin James right dead center as your safety. That is a dangerous trio. Very dangerous. And let's not wait until J.C. Jackson gets back onto the field, because he was expected to possibly make his return here at week 1. But, of course, they didn't want to go ahead and push the limit on J.C. Jackson, which he is questionable to return on week 2, which is just right around the corner. This Thursday night is going to be a game that it might be a game of the year, because you're going to have the Chiefs and the Chargers go at it live from Kansas City. So that is going to be a game to watch. But, you know, hopefully J.C. Jackson does get back to action, because that is a guy that the Chargers didn't even need yesterday. They didn't need him. They also didn't need Keenan Allen, who, you know, got also injured with a hamstring during the first half of the game yesterday, which, you know, when I saw that happen, I was like, no way. I was like, oh, wow, here comes Keenan Allen out of the game. No J.C. Jackson. Hey, the Chargers say, hey, no J.C., no Keenan, no problem, because they were going at it behind Justin Herbert's amazing 3 touchdowns that he threw yesterday, which was impressive, because those 3 touchdowns weren't even thrown to Keenan Allen, because, yeah, he was in their part of the game, but as well, the other guy who the Chargers invested a lot into in millions of dollars in former USC wide receiver Mike Williams. Mike Williams did not catch one ball until the fourth quarter, which you kind of see by the fourth quarter it was 24-10. I mean, the Chargers were just cruising all day long yesterday. And I do want to just get a little deeper into the Las Vegas Raiders situation, because you got to give the team some credit, because watching Devontae Adams, a guy who they spent some money on and traded for this offseason, was the smartest move they've ever done in the last 10 years of their franchise. Smartest move. It wasn't as smart as, you know, signing John Gruden to an awful 10-year contract worth $100 million, but Devontae Adams is the deal. I mean, he was impressive out on the field. His running routes great. When I was watching out there, I was like, wow, man, who's that guy? But you see number 17, Devontae Adams, he did collect over 150 yards yesterday from Derek Carr, someone who, I mean, I said this years ago, and I'm gonna give you guys a situation. If some of you guys out there watching, you've owned maybe multiple cars throughout your lifetime, and you sometimes, you have this car that you like. It's nice and shiny, got nice rims, some tinted windows. There's nothing's missing in this vehicle, and there's no scratch on it. But all of a sudden, you have 1 year with the car, and then you get a scratch or you get a flat tire, and then you got to replace that tire. You're spending some money. Then, maybe the motor goes out. Maybe you got to do an oil change. You got to spend some money in this vehicle. 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years into this car running, it's going to start falling apart. You're going to be spending more money on this. What are the Raiders doing right now? They spent some money and traded some of their guys to bring a guy like Devontae Adams. They spent some money on the coach who maybe after yesterday's game wasn't maybe the smart decision to go after Josh McDaniels. Yeah, he did play and coach under the New England Patriots with Bill Belichick. Was there through all the championship years with Tom Brady. But maybe sometimes you just don't get the right guy. And sometimes you don't buy the right pieces for your vehicle, for your car. So in this case, the Raiders are doing everything possible to fix this beat up car. Of course, you guys got that beat up car to try to make it better. They're not making anything better. They were just looking scrappy out on the field out there yesterday. Derek Carr, 3 interceptions. 3 interceptions. And you think, someone today told me some crazy stuff. They say, hey, you know what? After today's game, Derek Carr is no longer a top 5 quarterback. He's a top 10. I was like, what? How was he a top 5 quarterback entering this year? Tell me why he was even considered a top 5 quarterback in this year. I don't even know what and how in the world he was even thinking that. And he's like, well, now after this performance, he's top 10. Top 10? Are you crazy? Derek Carr, that is not top 10 material in Derek Carr. So the Vegas got to do something quickly because they got one of the biggest, if not the biggest, of nation out there. Raider Nation was present at SoFi Stadium yesterday. They were present. They were exciting. It was, if it wasn't for the Raider fans yesterday at SoFi Stadium, the excitement, the atmosphere inside was just crazy. It was hectic. Of course, we remember the matchup they had in Week 18 last season, which was a horrible loss, a devastating loss, a dramatic loss for their Chargers last year, and for them to come back and win the way they did, it was terrific for Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert earlier this week said, hey, you know what? I've been thinking about this game, Raiders, Chargers, for the past 7-8 months. After his performance yesterday, I can see why he was thinking about this game for the past 7-8 months. So you got to give credit where credit is due for the LA Chargers and give some credit to Devontae Adams for doing his thing yesterday. Because, man, oh, man, if the Raiders would have won yesterday, man, I would have needed 10 security guards around me before I walk out of SoFi Stadium because there was a few fights out there. If you guys were looking on TMZ earlier today, man, I saw it was just a funny fight. There was a lot of drama, but of course, if you go on Twitter and you just search Chargers Raiders fights at SoFi, you're gonna get a lot of things popping up. But thankfully, the Chargers won. They took care of business, and now they're heading to Kansas City this Thursday to face on Patrick Mahomes, which he had a terrific outing yesterday. Patrick Mahomes had a terrific outing, but I will talk about Patrick Mahomes, and let's not forget. I don't want you guys to forget what happened on Thursday night on the debut of the NFL season with the Los Angeles Rams and the Buffalo Bills. I'm going to go ahead and let you guys know what's happening with that. And as well, what happened to the Niners? San Francisco decided to go into Chicago and blow it. I'm going to give you guys some of those details when we return here on Monday Night Fredo.
Hey guys, you got to check out the Pure Life Alternative Wellness Center. It's a family-owned and operated pre-ICO, Prop D compliant, and recreational collective serving Chatsworth, the San Fernando Valley, and the surrounding Los Angeles areas. They offer discounts for all our veterans and seniors 55 plus, as well as first-time patient and referral discounts. You can order online at purelifesfv.org. That's purelifesfv.org.
United One Protection Services. With over 30 years of experience, United One Protection Services has more expertise and knowledge than the other security companies combined. Residential, commercial, municipal, or institutional, United One Protection Services does more than just security. We protect your livelihood. United One Protection Services.
And we are back here live on Monday Night Fredo, live from the Infinity Studios here in Los Angeles. Another thing that happened in Los Angeles last week on Thursday Night Football, on the debut of the NFL season, with the defending champs in the Los Angeles Rams taking on the Super Bowl favorites this year in the Buffalo Bills. A lot of people they were like, hey, you know what? The Rams are good. They're at home. They're going to celebrate. They're going to get a new banner, which, first of all, talking about banners, I don't even think that the Rams deserve to hang up a banner that they got in, 1999 in St. Louis. I don't think that St. Louis banner deserves to be hanging up there at SoFi Stadium, because they got one championship this year here in Los Angeles. So that 99 can go. But another guy that can maybe go is Matthew Stafford. 3 interceptions again in a game for Matthew Stafford. It was just an awful performance for defending Super Bowl quarterback coming into this game. A lot of people were like, hey, Matthew Stafford, his elbow's good. He even said, hey, I'm good to go. It didn't look like he was good to go. You know, Josh Allen looked like he was ready to go. Josh Allen came in and made this Rams house his house. Bills Mafia took over SoFi Stadium on Thursday. I mean, Bills Mafia were always out in Hermosa Beach, Redondo Beach all week long. They have a group of people and the fans that travel with the team, and they took over Los Angeles this past week. But Josh Allen, Super Bowl favorite quarterback, looking very, very good, defeating the Los Angeles Rams 31-10. 31-10 at SoFi Stadium. If that's the way you defend your Super Bowl championship from last season, that is not going to get the Rams anywhere this season, especially playing with that awful secondary they got. Jalen Ramsey looked awful as well. He didn't perform as he should. He got beat by Stephon Diggs out on the field out there. Stephon Diggs was chatting him down, chewing him down. And there was nothing that Jalen Ramsey, who, according to NFL, he is the number 1 ranked cornerback. So I don't think that Jalen Ramsey deserves to be the number 1 ranked cornerback, especially after Stephon Diggs proved him on the field that he is not that guy. And those were the words that came from Stephon Diggs. You are not that guy. You know, and I agree with Stephon Diggs, former Minnesota Viking, now Buffalo Bill. But the Rams, can they repeat? That's been the whole question all offseason. There's been no team that has repeated in the last 18, 19 years since the New England Patriots did it, like in 2003, 2004. So no other team has been able to do it. And I don't think, especially losing a lot of guys, they lost a guy, Von Miller. Von Miller was playing against them on Thursday with the Buffalo Bills, and he made his presence be known. He was out there sacking Matthew Stafford twice. Big moments as well. So another guy, like I feel personally, the Buffalo defense, the Buffalo offense, one of the best out there in this season. One of the best. I mean, there's going to be no matchup in Bills and Chargers this year, which you'll be able to see some very good teams out there. But after what the Rams did this this week, I can guarantee you 99.9, or I mean, I might want to go 100%. The Rams are not repeating. And my biggest take on this is the Rams might not even make the playoffs. They might not. Seattle, who's in their division, just beat down the Denver Broncos. Russell Wilson returning back to Seattle, and Seattle, Geno Smith. A lot of people remember Geno Smith. He was a good quarterback, decent quarterback. And now, no Russell Wilson in Seattle. Geno and Pete Carroll, they did their thing on Monday Night Football against the Denver Broncos. So let's not forget that there is that team right there. But there's another team in the same NFC division right there with the Rams. Another team that played awful yesterday in the San Francisco 49ers and Trey Lance. Let's go ahead and stop there for a second because I want to laugh. I feel I have a lot of friends who are Niner fans. You know, there is a lot of Niner fans here in Los Angeles. But there is one individual who I just talked to just a few minutes ago before I got onto this show here. I want to give a shout out to my boy Jorge Briones, who is the producer for Mason and Ireland on 710 ESPN, and he's a diehard Niners fan. And I know he's watching right now because he told me, "Hey, I'm gonna be listening, I'm gonna be watching." But hey, man, Trey Lance in the San Francisco 49ers, that's maybe one of the awful. It's pretty awful to see that they committed to a guy with no experience and they benched another guy. They wanted to trade the other guy that took them to the Super Bowl twice. They were trying to get rid of that man. And he's still right there. They gave him a very nice new contract this a few weeks ago. They constructed his deal to be able to make him a free agent this offseason. But his deal has a no trade clause, which is very smart for Mr. Garoppolo down there. But with the San Francisco 49ers doing what they did, Deebo Samuel, they didn't really do anything. They had Mitchell running back there as well. But when your quarterback, this is one crazy stat that I saw in the 19-10 victory for the Chicago Bears over the Niners. I saw that Trey Lance had more rushing attempts, more rushing yards than their actual running backs. Why in hell would Trey Lance have more rushing attempts and more rushing yards than Deebo Samuel, one of the best players out on the field every single week? That's a problem. Yeah, I understand you guys are not used to the rain. I understand that, oh, well, you know, it's the first week, this and that. Hey, you guys were in the NFC championship game last year, a few plays away from making it to the Super Bowl. And now facing a team like the Chicago Bears who they have nothing to lose. That's why they were playing the way they did. They play impressive. Got to give some credit to the former Ohio State quarterback down there. But shout out to the Bears and, you know, a little special shout out to the Niners as well. But hopefully the Niners can get back on track next week. And, you know, I think that the Niners are still a better team than the Los Angeles Rams. And let's not forget, in the Arizona Cardinals, they're also a much better team than the Los Angeles Rams. So that's my reason on why the Rams might miss the playoffs this year. But talking about the Arizona Cardinals, they faced Patrick Mahomes yesterday. And, you know, Patrick Mahomes went to Phoenix and really dominated. Did what he normally does, threw 5 touchdowns, dominated every single part of the field, which is going to be a very scary thought to see Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert this Thursday night on Thursday Night Football, which is only exclusively on Prime Video on Amazon. So if you're going to try to watch this game, you can't watch it on regular TV. You can't watch it anywhere but only on Prime Video on Amazon. So make sure you guys check that out. But Patrick Mahomes did a very, very good thing in, you know, what he was capable of doing out on the field yesterday. So you got to give some credit to that team. So it seems like the AFC is going to be a little tough. It's going to be a little tough on what you're going to be doing. But there's another team yesterday as well who had a very big upset, a very surprising, disappointing performance in the former NFL MVP in Aaron Rodgers, who Aaron Rodgers visited the Minnesota Vikings yesterday. in Minnesota, and you got to give some credit to Minnesota. They were underdogs coming into this game. You understand you got a guy like Aaron Rodgers coming into your town, and you think that they're going to dominate. But guess what? Aaron Rodgers got no weapons. There's no more Devontae Adams out there, and a guy like Kirk Cousins who always plays. I always feel that Kirk Cousins always plays without any pressure on him. He feels so laid back. He just goes out there on the field and does what he does. He did get a major contract 3 seasons ago when he came over from the Washington football team, but Kirk Cousins, and you also got a guy like Justin Jefferson who, got 3 touchdowns yesterday, almost 200 receiving yards. Incredible young guy coming into his second year in the NFL. Then you have another guy like Dalvin Cook, one of the best running backs out on the field every single weekend. So you also have Adam Thielen with the Minnesota Vikings. So you have a lot of great pieces that were just underdogs. They were very, 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 very surprising to me yesterday as they took a big victory 21-7 against Aaron Rodgers, who did not throw one touchdown at all. Not one. He threw an interception, but he didn't get a touchdown. So what is Aaron Rodgers going to do? Because it seemed like we had an offseason of Aaron Rodgers, whether he wanted to get traded, he didn't want to commit to his team. He finally got a deal. He's finally going to stay. He's supposedly happy, which it didn't seem like he was happy yesterday, losing out on the field. So it's going to be very, very crazy to go ahead and see. But another guy that we didn't expect to be in this season, because he announced, hey, I'm retiring. I'm done. A couple weeks later, hey, I'm back. That was Tom Brady himself returning to AT&T Stadium yesterday. And what Tom Brady did yesterday made me reconsider my pick for the Super Bowl. Because if you guys remember, I had a different pick a few weeks ago. But seeing what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were able to do, having a guy like Mike Adams, and then, picking up Julio Jones, they got Leonard Fournette, and, of course, Tom Brady himself. They look good out there against the Dallas Cowboys. Their defense, impressive. Rush defense, one of the best out there. They were able to stop Ezekiel Elliott, which that is a guy who I kind of want to emphasize a little more. I want to focus on him because Ezekiel Elliott has been known for the past years. He's one of the best running backs out there. Scariest. He's hungry, always eating. Over the past 2 seasons, he's been decreasing his numbers. And I mean, they always say that, hey, running backs are good in the first 3-4 years. After that, they start declining. His numbers are really not what they're supposed to be. I mean, you expect Ezekiel to maybe rush at least minimum 65, 70 yards at the minimum. For someone to not even hit 45 yards and not even score 1 touchdown, only score 3 points in the season debut at home, in front of your home fans, on prime time, Sunday Night Football. Ezekiel, that's what you do? Awful. Maybe I'm a little more mad because he's on my fantasy team. And I needed him to perform, and he didn't. Another guy that the Dallas needed to perform well after last season, Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was on the field, and guess what? He got hurt again. What's new with Dak and the Cowboys? Always an injury every single year, and it just feels like, guys, is this something that the Dallas Cowboys dealt with Tony Romo a few years ago? And now it's maybe time to say, hey, Dak, we love you. We want to keep you, but maybe you're not that guy. Maybe he's just not that guy. He was a guy the first year. Impressive rookie year. One of the best rookie years we've seen out there in Dak Prescott. And didn't Mr. Jones, owner of the Cowboys, make a mistake to give Dak Prescott that money? I think so. I think he made a huge mistake, especially after the way he tore his leg and he got this large contract. Very awful. Bad business move for the Dallas Cowboys, which kind of lets us know the reason why they're in this position every single year. Because the talk about the Cowboys is always like, hey, how can you have your owner be the GM of your team? I mean, if I was the owner of the team, maybe I would want to be the GM, but I feel that I would make emotional moves and not team moves, not what the team needs. But sometimes I might make very emotional moves that I might be like, oh, Dad, you're a best friend of mine. You're like my son. I'm gonna sign you. I'm gonna give you all the money. And that's the moves that Mr. Jones is doing out there, which is very bad for that ownership group and that organization. Hopefully, Cowboy Nation tries to, get Dak out of town and get a new quarterback. Get a new quarterback or maybe a new coach. But I think Mike McCarthy might keep the job. He might be like one of those puppets that Mr. Jones might be having out there that's going to be speaking to the media every week. But I mean, Tom Brady, impressive guy. I think Tom Brady and the Buccaneers are going to go pretty far this season. They're going to go pretty far this season. Another team that I think is going to go pretty far in this season is going to be the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm going to touch a little bit about some basketball right now in the last few minutes of the show. We're going to take a very quick commercial break. When we come back, I'm going to talk a little bit about the Lakers, and then I'm going to kick you guys off to the waiver wire with Mike and Marco coming up at 9 o'clock here on the Infinity Studios. We'll be right back on Monday Night Fredo.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
And we're back here on Monday Night Fredo live from Los Angeles. Again, don't forget, right after this show, 9 o'clock, you got the waiver wire with Marco and Mike. Very good fantasy football, injuries, everything you got to know. That's your show to go ahead and tune in. But another show, which is the Lake Show, you might want to tune in starting October the 3rd. It is going to be the Lakers preseason debut against the Sacramento Kings live from Las Vegas, which is going to be a very good game to see because you're going to see a lot of the young guys. You're going to see a lot of the young guys, a guy like Christie that came over from the Michigan State. You're going to be seeing some more Austin Reeves. Hopefully, I'm not sure how Anthony Davis is going to look. I mean, most of the time they like to keep those guys not on the court, but I feel that Darvin Ham got to play LeBron, got to play AD, got to play Russell Westbrook a lot of minutes during the preseason. They did not have enough time last season. They didn't have enough time to put enough games together to really show what they got. I'm pretty sure over the offseason, the chemistry got better between all three of them. I'm pretty sure the relationships between each other, a guy like Westbrook, a guy like LeBron, they got a chance to see film from last season. They maybe are looking at, hey, look, we could maybe work better if you do this and you do that. LeBron stand in the corner, give Westbrook the ball. That's what I think should happen. Russell Westbrook got to be the point guard of this team. When a lot of times, the point guard is the guy that has the ball in his hand for at least a lot of time throughout the ball game. He's the one checking out the ball, getting the ball, bringing up the ball up the court, setting up the team offense. I understand LeBron's one of the greatest players of all time. I'm on this show every single time, any platform I'm on, I'm always saying it. LeBron James is the greatest of all time. But LeBron, this is your 20. Please take a step back, save your legs, save your time. Stand in the corner. If you stand in the corner, you're going to see all these defensive eyeballs keep going like this. Keep going like this. Looking with LeBron. Next thing you know, he goes like this. Boom. Russell cuts. Someone cuts. Easy bucket. AD doing something differently. That's a major distraction for the defense. And hopefully Russell brings up the ball, and that will it's going to make the team a lot better. And Patrick Beverley, he might be the one bringing up the ball as well. Because, Patrick Beverley's a great leader out on the court. He's a great leader, and I'm very, very excited to see what Patrick Beverley brings to the Lakers season this upcoming year. So make sure you guys all tune in. Preseason debut, October 3rd, live from Vegas. Lakers, Kings, very good team out there. And hopefully, by the time I'm talking to you guys next Monday night, I'll be talking about the great win for the Chargers against the Kansas City Chiefs, which is going to be amazing. Again, tune into that on Amazon Prime Video this Thursday night, live from Kansas City. And, of course, tune into me, Monday Night Fredo, next Monday. But right now, we're 30 minutes away from the debut of the Waiver Wire with Marco and Mike here on the Infinity Studios. I'll talk to you guys next week. I'll see you guys then.